There was a preacher whose wife was expecting a baby, so he went before the congregation and asked for a raise. After much discussion, they passed a rule that whenever the preacher's family expanded, so would his paycheck. After 6 children, this started to get expensive, and the congregation decided to hold another meeting to discuss the preacher's salary. There was much yelling and bickering about how much the clergyman's additional children were costing the church. Finally, the preacher got up and spoke to the crowd. "Children are a gift from God," he said. Silence fell on the congregation. In the back pew, a little old lady stood up and in her frail voice said, "Rain is also a gift from God, but when we get too much of it, we wear rubbers." A senator is visiting a primary school. In one class, he asks the students if anyone can give him an example of a tragedy. One little boy stands up and offers that, if my best friend who lives next door is playing in the street when a car came by and killed him, that would be a tragedy. "No," the senator says. "That would be an accident." A girl raises her hand. "If a school bus carrying 50 children drove off a cliff, killing everyone inside, that would be a tragedy." "I'm afraid not," explains the senator. "That is what we would call a great loss." The room is silent. None of the other children dare volunteer. "What?" asks the senator. "Isn't there anyone here who can give me an example of a tragedy?" Finally, little Johnny in the back raises his hand. In a timid voice, he says, "If an airplane carrying a senator was blown up by a bomb, that would be a tragedy." "Marvelous!" The senator beams. "And can you tell me why that would be a tragedy?" "Well," says Johnny, "because it wouldn't be an accident, and it certainly would be no great loss." There was this preacher who was an avid golfer. Every chance he could get, he could be found on the golf course swinging away. It was an obsession. One Sunday was a picture-perfect day for golfing. The sun was out, no clouds in the sky, and the temperature was just right. The preacher was in a quandary as to what to do, and shortly, the urge to play golf overcame him. He called an assistant to tell him that he was sick and could not do church, packed the car up, and drove 3 hours to a golf course where no one would recognize him. Happily, he began to play the course. As this was going on, an angel up above was watching the preacher and was quite perturbed. He went to God and said, "Look at the preacher, he should be punished for what he is doing." God nodded in agreement. The preacher teed up on the first hole. He swung at the ball, and it sailed effortlessly through the air and landed right in the cup 350 yards away. A picture-perfect hole-in-one. He was amazed and excited, his mouth open in shock. The angel was a little shocked as well. He turned to God and said, "Begging your pardon, but I thought you were going to punish him." God smiled. "Think about it. Who is he going to tell?" A little old lady checked into a motel on her 70th birthday, but she was a bit lonely. She thought, "I'll call one of those men you see advertised in the phone books for escorts and sensual massages." She looked through the phone book, found a full-page ad for a guy calling himself Tender Tony. A very handsome man with assorted physical skills flexing in the photo. He had all the right muscles in all the right places, thick wavy hair, long powerful legs, a dazzling smile, six-pack abs, and she felt quite certain she could bounce a quarter off his butt. The old lady figured, what the heck, nobody will ever know. She gave him a call. "Good evening, ma'am. How may I help you?" Oh my, he sounded so sensual, thought the old lady, afraid she would lose her nerve. If she hesitated, she rushed right in. "Hi, I hear you give a great massage. I'd like you to come to my motel room and give me one." "No, wait. I should be straight with you. I'm in town all alone, and what I want is sex. I want it hot, and I want it now. Bring rubber, leather, whips, everything you've got in your bag of tricks. We'll go hot and heavy all night. Tie me up, cover me in chocolate syrup and whipped cream, anything and everything. I'm ready." "Now, how does that sound?" asked the old lady. "That sounds absolutely fantastic, madam, but you need to press 9 for an outside line." So an American man went to China and had fun with many of their ladies while not using protection the entire time he was there. A week after arriving back home in the States, he wakes one morning to find his manhood covered with bright green and purple spots. Horrified, he immediately goes to see a doctor. The doctor, never having seen anything like this before, orders some tests and tells the man to return in 2 days for the results. The man returns a couple of days later, and the doctor says, "I've got bad news for you. You've contracted Mongolian VD. It's very rare and almost unheard of here in the US. We know very little about it." The man looks a little perplexed and says, "Well, give me a shot or something and fix me up, doc." The doctor answers, "I'm sorry, there's no known cure. We're going to have to amputate your manhood." The man screams in horror, "Absolutely not. I want a second opinion." The doctor replies, "Well, it's your choice. Go ahead if you want, but surgery is your only option." The next day, the man seeks out a Chinese doctor. Figuring that he'll know more about the disease, the Chinese doctor examines his thing and proclaims, Yes, Mongolian VD, very rare disease." The guy says to the doctor, Yeah, I already know that, but what can we do? My American doctor wants to cut it off." The Chinese doctor shakes his head and laughs. "Stupid American doctors always want to amputate. Make more money than we. No need to amputate." "Oh, thank God," the man exclaims. "Yes," says the Chinese doctor. "Wait 2 weeks, fall off by itself." Subscribe to the channel. This is important. It will help me continue my work.